blasting, billowing, bursting forth with the power of 10 billion butterfly sneezes.
This is Wine, Money, and Song. And if you want an insider's view of the wine industry, and if you're interested in learning about wines in different wine areas, please subscribe. So in my summer wine drinking adventures, I have a diverse selections of wines here. Now, the last episode I did 6 Bordeaux. So what I have for you, I have a Champagne, I have a California Chardonnay, and I have 2 Riojas, and I have 2 California varietals. So pretty much a good sprinkling of different wines. And the first wine is a bottle of Champagne, Laurent Perrier, 2008 vintage, which is a great vintage in Champagne. You have to go back to 2002 and the 96s. 3 of the last great vintages, really outstanding. The 2008 Laurent Perrier is a very classic style, and I had this at my birthday party, and it's a very big style, bold style. Pinot Chardonnay, it's Pinot and Chardonnay, and very, very rich. This wine's going to age well and refreshing, but it really stands up to food. So happy birthday to me. The second you see, it's a California Chardonnay, Chateau Montelena, in a Magnum, and I don't really like California Chardonnay that much, but Chateau Montelena, very, very famous chateau from the beginning of California, one of the pioneers, Bo Barrett runs, and they came to fame in a 1973 Chardonnay, which beat more expensive Burgundy. So the reason why I picked this up, I picked it up at auction. It's the 2007 Chardonnay, and he doesn't do malolactic fermentation, and he does some whole clusters. So the wines tend to be fresher and not as clumsy as a lot of the other California Chardonnays. And before I bought this wine, I read some recent reviews on them that people had tasted it, and they said the wine was really good. So I took a chance, because usually if you're going to buy old white wine, whether it's California or anywhere, you're really rolling the dice. But it's very helpful. I think I got it on the Wine Berserkers or whatever, somewhere. And shockingly, the wine was really good. There was a certain amount of freshness. The color is starting to get a little more deeper in color, but the Chardonnay quality, the green apple quality, the roundness in the wine, it was complexity to the wine. The reason why I opened it is I had relatives in from Denver, and they're wine drinkers, and I'm sure they've never had an old Chardonnay. So I wanted to open it up and share it with them, and we all enjoyed it very much. And we polished it out, and shockingly, it was well worth the $120, whatever I paid, which is a really good price. Because if you bought a Chardonnay today from Chateau Montelena, I'm sure it's $60, $80 a bottle. It was good to do. And the next 2 wines are wines from Rioja, and these are the 2 best Rioja wineries, in my opinion. The first one is from Vina Ardenza, Reserva 2010, Selezione Speciale, which I think the last vintage they had a Reserva Speciale was 2001. So this is 2010. It's not every year. The 2015 is the next vintage, and I do have to buy some of that. And this is the La Rioja Alta, and they make great wines. they make great wines. And this wine is Tempranillo and Grenache combined. And the wines are very, very balanced, and they have a great mouthfeel. And they're made higher up altitude-wise. And these wines age for a long period of time, very classically made. There's a richness, and it spends 3 years in American oak. And there's a cherryness to this, vanilla and spice, and the length of the wine and the mouthfeel is so wonderful. And I think I paid originally $40 for this when I bought it, and the 15 vintage is like $90. So that's what you get when you're a wine collector and you're smart. Yeah, smartness. And the second wine is, I was thinking about just doing an episode about this wine. Now, R. Lopez Heredia is the most classical maker of wine, I think, in the world. You know, he's still making wines like it was 200 years ago. He ages wines for 10 years in oak and wood, and he does it in a very, very traditional method. And most of the oak is very neutral, so you don't get that overly sweet, over-the-top vanilla, and you don't lose the acidity in the wine. So this is a rosado, right? And the rosado has, hey, there's a fruit fly inside the bottle. How do you like that? Still good, huh? And this is a 2010, and I don't think I've ever had their rosé before. And it's the rosé, is it the Grand Vino Tondino? And this wine is hard to get. They make, I think, less than 2,000 cases. And whenever I have a chance to buy, I just buy it blindly. Now, I hate spending $125 on a bottle of rosé. You know, there are a few good expensive rosés. Chateau Simon is very, very good too, and very, very expensive. But this wine tastes like no other wine that I've tasted. Now, you pull a cork of this. Now, it's 2010 rosé. There's a lot of fruit flies in here. Oh my God, they're crawling in there. And I come across this wine, you pull a cork, and the cork came out easy, and the color of the wine is fresh. Now, how is a wine from 2010? It's 15 years old, it's a rosé. It should be orange, and it's still pink. It's strawberry colored. You pull it out, and the first thing you get a whiff of, there's a resiny, fetal quality to it. And it's a little off-putting. This is not a wine for unsophisticated wine drinkers. This is a wine, it's a graduate school wine. You really have to have your olfactory sensors tuned up to this, because this attacks your palate. There's no other wine I could draw a parallel with this. The flavors in this, the resin, the oak, the strawberry quality to it, and so much going on in it. And the flavors are still fresh. And it's more like a light red wine, but it's refreshing like a rosé. I didn't chill it much, I cooled it down. And the quality of this wine, if you have a chance to try this, not everyone's gonna like this, because it is over the top register-wise in flavors, resin, the wood, but everything is is merged together and balanced. The flavors are there, and after you finish this wine, you feel like you were on a wild ride, and you say, God, what did I just do? But it's an incredible wine. The last two wines are California varietals, and one is Chardonnay, Cabernet Franc, and I would think you can only buy this at the winery or be on the mailing list. They make very small amount of this. And Chardonnay, very famous name in history, very famous for their Pritchard Hill Cabernet, and they make a little bit of the Cab Franc 2019. Big wine, dark wine, blue fruit, blue, deep, full-bodied, spicy, and very, very interesting to drink. And Chardonnay doesn't do anything half-hearted. If you ever have a chance, if you see their Chenin Blanc, they have a dry Chenin Blanc, very hard to get. Outstanding wine, besides their Pritchard Hill Cabernet. And I can't say enough about the Cabernet Franc's very interesting to me, and it's very different than most of the other red wines from California. The last wine is Carlisle Mourvedre, which is a Rhone variety. Sonoma County, Bennett Valley, Radiant Ridge Vineyard, 2008. And one thing I'd like to say about Carlisle, one of my favorite Zinfandel producers, and I know Zinfandel's out of favor. It's not on the list of most wine drinkers, but this Mourvedre, he makes like 200, how many cases did he make of this? 310 cases. So there's none of this available. So I picked it up in auction. And it is a mouthful of wine. And you can tell it's very low yielding, very rich. And if you had a blind, you think you're having something from the Rhone. But really high scaled and very rare. And I read something that Carlisle, Mike Officer is the guy who owns Carlisle and has been making wines from very old vines, 125-year-old vines. And he's trying to sell a winery and he can't sell them. And it's crazy. He makes great wines, but no one's interested right now. And he owns about 12 acres of his own wine, and he has access to other very old vine, red varieties. And this wine really knocked it out of the ballpark. And no one knows Mourvedre from California generally. You know it from the Rhone. But this is what California, I think, more so than Cabernet. They could do the Rhine varieties very, very well. So there are some wines that I've been drinking, and hopefully you get something out of that.